It's Sha'Carri and Shericka. The USA in front. Nobody's catching Sha'Carri.
She's storming to victory here. Watch the clock. This is so fast.
The 2025 sprinting season is reaching a boiling point as rivalries heat up and records fall across the globe. But while the men's field is currently dominated by Kenny Bednarek's explosive form, the real fireworks are happening in the women's 100 meters, where one of the most talked about matchups in recent track and field history is about to reignite. At the center of the showdown lies the Prefontaine Classic, a meet that has historically served as a bellwether for global championship glory. And this year, it's not just a race, it's a statement, with Tia Clayton clocking the current world-leading time of 10.92 in Doha. And a world championship looming in Tokyo, July's pre-classic is shaping up to be the ultimate proving ground for who's ready to rule 2025. But before we look ahead, we have to rewind the clock to one race that changed everything. August 21st, 2021, the day the track world collectively held its breath. At the Nike Prefontaine Classic, 3 Olympic medalists, Elaine Thompson-Herah, Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce, and Shericka Jackson, lined up for what was billed as the race of the year. But all eyes were on one athlete, Sha'Carri Richardson. After being banned from the Tokyo Olympics due to a marijuana violation, her comeback was highly anticipated. Ranked as the 3rd fastest woman that season, even ahead of Jackson, Sha'Carri was expected to shake up the podium. But what unfolded was nothing short of brutal. Elaine Thompson-Herah torched the track with a 10.54, the closest any woman had ever come to Flojo's controversial world record. Shelly-Ann and Shericka took 2nd and 3rd, completing a Jamaican sweep. Meanwhile, Sha'Carri crashed hard, finishing dead last in 11.14, nearly half a second behind Elaine. The image of Sha'Carri trailing behind in the dust, followed by a tense post-race interview, went viral. That loss wasn't just a defeat, it was public humiliation, but for Sha'Carri, it lit a fire, and the story was far from over. Fast forward 1 year, and Sha'Carri Richardson was back with a vengeance. In 2022, she stormed into the Prefontaine Classic once again, and this time she didn't disappoint, finishing 2nd with a 10.92, defeating top contenders like Dina Asher-Smith and Shericka Jackson. Then came 2023, and Sha'Carri's name was back in the headlines for all the right reasons. She stunned the world by winning the World Championships with a scorching 10.65, silencing critics and securing her spot as the fastest woman alive that year. She followed that up with a 10.80 at the 2023 Prefontaine Classic, fast enough to compete, though not to win. But the statement was clear. Sha'Carri was back in the mix. By 2024, the redemption arc was complete. She claimed her first ever Prefontaine Classic title with a 10.83, edging out the likes of Julian Alfred, Dina Asher-Smith, and even Olympian Elaine Thompson-Herah. It wasn't just about speed anymore, it was about legacy. And for Sha'Carri Richardson, that comeback was just the beginning of something bigger. But 2025 has started with a curveball. At the Seiko Golden Grand Prix in Tokyo, Sha'Carri lined up for her season opener and finished with a sluggish 11.47, landing in 4th place and sparking fresh questions about her readiness. But if there's one thing we've learned from her trajectory, it's this. Don't count her out early. In 2024, she also opened with lackluster 200-meter races in China, posting 22.99 and 23.11 before later clocking the world-leading 10.71. So while 11.47 is nowhere near her peak, it could be part of a calculated strategy to peak later, especially with this year's World Championships set for mid-September, a full month later than usual. Athletes are building form differently, holding back their speed until it truly counts. Sha'Carri's opener may look like a warning sign, but history tells a different story. And that story suggests the storm is still coming. On the other side of the rivalry, Shericka Jackson is quietly making noise. In her 2025 debut at the Rabat Diamond League, she dropped a crisp 11.04, nearly half a second faster than Sha'Carri's Tokyo outing. What makes it even more impressive is that it was Jackson's season opener, a time many athletes use just to dust off the rust. But Jackson didn't just ease in, she made a statement. At 11:04, she's already showing signs of peaking early, which could give her a crucial edge at the pre-classic. While Sha'Carri dominates headlines, Shericka is building momentum in the shadows. It's the kind of quiet dominance that can sneak up and flip narratives. With her history of Olympic and world medals and consistent sub-11s when it counts, Jackson isn't here to play catch-up. She's here to claim what she believes is rightfully hers. Their rivalry isn't just emotional, it's statistical. Sha'Carri and Shericka have faced off 9 times. Jackson leads the head-to-head 5 wins to 4, but it's far from a blowout. Their average times when racing each other are razor-thin. Jackson sits at 10.78, Richardson at 10.88. That 0.10 second difference is barely a blink of an eye. But on the track, it's everything. These two push each other to their limits, and every time they meet, the result feels like a glimpse into the future of women's sprinting. Their matchups are more than just races. They're tests of pride, discipline, and endurance. And when rivals are this closely matched, it's never just about speed. It's about who can handle the pressure and rise when the stakes are highest. That's exactly the kind of drama we can expect at the upcoming Prefontaine Classic. The Prefontaine Classic is no ordinary meet. It's track and field's crystal ball. Year after year, it produces world-leading times and breakthrough performances. In the women's 100 meters, going under 11 seconds isn't a possibility. It's an expectation. And with the 2025 edition scheduled for July 5th in Eugene, Oregon, it couldn't come at a more critical point in the season. With the World Championships just 2 months away, athletes will be testing their peak form, gauging where they stand among elite competition. But this year's field isn't complete just yet. There's talk that other heavy hitters might join in, names like Julian Alfred, Melissa Jefferson, or even the legendary Shelly Ann Fraser-Price. If they do, this won't just be a 2-woman showdown. It'll be an all-out war for supremacy. But no matter who shows up, all eyes will be on Sha'Carri and Shericka, because this race could set the tone for the rest of 2025.
They're up. Here we go.
So here we are, 2 titans on a collision course at one of the biggest meets of the year. Sha'Carri Richardson, the redemption queen with something to prove, versus Shericka Jackson, the silent storm who lets her feet do the talking. Their history is fierce, their stats are close, and their ambitions are sky high. With every step, they're not just chasing medals, they're chasing legacy. This Prefontaine Classic isn't just about winning a race. It's about rewriting the story of 2025. Who will seize the spotlight? Will Sha'Carri silence the doubters once again? Or will Shericka assert herself as the real threat for Tokyo gold? One thing is certain. When the gun goes off in Eugene, the world will be watching, and nothing will ever be the same again.